Hey folks, this is Lazzari here with Educated Veteran, and today I want to talk about the lack of suffering and adversity in your life. And you're like, wait a minute, isn't the goal to avoid suffering and adversity in my life? You know what? I think we've gone way out the wrong side of this, and here's what I mean. I repeatedly, it seems like a couple of times a week now, I repeatedly get added to these veteran groups that are stood up in Facebook, designed specifically to talk shit about the VA, about the government. I just was invited to a group yesterday. I won't say the name of the group, but I went into, you can go in, what is this group for? And here's what this group is for. This group is for right-wingers. Now, this is set up by veterans, and they're recruiting they're going on and they're finding any veteran they can. They're adding them to this group. So here it is. This group is for right-wingers, constitutionalists, conservatives. It's to expose liberal trolls. It's to blacklist a list of people or products viewed with suspicion or disapproval, to post profiles and false flags so we can discuss them. Like, you got enough time on your hands and there's over 1,000 people in this group. I mean, and it's growing. They just keep adding more and more people. I guarantee not everybody in that group right now asked to be there or wants to be there. But it got me thinking, there's these groups that do the same thing with the whole purpose of just bashing the VA and their bad experiences with the VA. They've got groups that bash the military in general and how they were slighted and how the military dealt them a bad hand. And I mean, there's group after group after group, and they've got nothing better to do with their time and their life but to sit and bitch, right? And I got to think, how do you get to that point in your life? Well, you've got that much time. That's all you care about is sitting and bitching and talking with other people that want to sit and bitch. And it got me thinking. I think it comes back to suffering and adversity, okay? I remember when I was in the Army and I was in Korea, the coldest place I've ever been in my life. We were out on the field problem, and we were doing movement to contact. It was, blue 4, red 4, op 4, whatever you call it. And we were doing movement to contact, and I just remember being so freaking cold. I couldn't even move. I couldn't even carry my weapon. My hands just couldn't work. I mean, it was so cold. And that suffering, that adversity, I was focused on one thing: getting warm, surviving the night. If I can just make it one more hour, if I can just make it one more, when is the sun going to come up? If I can just make it to when the sun comes up, and then when the sun comes up, it's like, if I could just make it to, to chow, if I could just get a cup of hot coffee, it was just, I was living in this incremental time in my life. I was living from moment to moment. I was going through this moment of suffering and adversity. But you know what I wasn't doing? I wasn't focused on, liberal trolls and identifying people and profiles that we can blacklist and talk shit about. I didn't care about any of that because I was going through this period of adversity and suffering. And I think here in America, we've gotten so comfortable. We've gotten comfortable with our jobs and our lives and our family and our relationships that we become so just unsuffering, right? And the adversity in our lives has gotten to the point where it's so minimal that we focus our time and our attention on things that really don't freaking matter. They just don't. So you find 50 trolls on Facebook and you block them or black flag them or expose them, or what is it doing? What does that do to make your life any better? What is that doing to make other people's lives better? What is that doing to make my life as a veteran any better? I don't give a shit. And that's what I just don't understand. I think people need to go back to accepting, if you put it this way, here's my opinion. If you aren't going through a period of suffering or adversity in your life, and that's a broad spectrum. I'm not talking you're homeless and, you're trying to figure out where you're going to get your next meal from. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing things in your life that's hard, that's challenging, that's going to bring on some failure on occasion, that's going to there's going to be some adverse moments in your life. Starting your own business, you're going to fail at times. Getting out there and trying to help people is sometimes not going to go your way. There's going to be some suffering. There's going to be some adversity. But you're trying to add value to other people's lives. And in doing so, you're bringing on some suffering, some adversity. That's service. I guarantee you, if you spend a little bit more of your time trying to make somebody else's life a little bit better, you're gonna experience an element of suffering and adversity that's going to consume the time that you're spending on these bullshit Facebook groups. That's all I got to say. So the next veteran that wants to invite me to one of their bullshit Facebook groups or thinks that I've got time on my hands to sit down and bitch about shit that don't really matter at the end of the day, no, got another thing coming, buddy. I am not going to join your group, and I'm going to expose you for who you are. So here you go. This is my message to you. Go get a life. Do something that makes somebody else's life better. Make a difference in this world.